blabbering about the slapping.
This chick is cool.
Like, you have some people who are just transformational people in your life, you know. How do I know if this is on? Okay, it's on.
I'm my own cameraman.
Martin's episode was funny, man. Oh, brand. But I don't know if it's this one. Everyone has place in this world, you know. Sorry. This like very excitable character. I can do anything, you know. So I'd saved a little bit and then cut that out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hello and welcome to Brutalism and Bananas. This is Neelanjana and today's guest is Samantha King. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
She is one of the OG mural artists from our college. She's painted a lot of the walls. You remember The Godfather and everything?
Yeah, I think Richard was the mastermind behind it, but I think the second floor had this mural that I was pretty involved in.
Yeah. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was preparing for the law entrance exam and everything.
Yeah.
And one day my brother was like, you know, I know these friends of mine who are always traveling and having fun. I'm like, okay, I'll go check out this college.
Yeah.
And I go check it out, and I absolutely fell in love with college.
Yeah.
It's not architecture as
Just the
such.
college culture.
Yeah, it was, so cool. There were like these partitions, there were no walls.
Yeah.
You could interact. And I think that's why I took up architecture.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so the artwork, the people around, I think did influence me into architecture.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of the same for me because I was very good at drawing from when I was young. And I think that I joined architecture because it's the only professional course that allowed creativity and having drawing skills and having decent marks in like subjects and stuff. So my dad always wanted me to do a professional degree. Yeah. And so because I could draw and I was so good at it, I was just like, this is the natural, course progression. So that's why I joined architecture. But I appreciated the architecture. Then the 5 years of studying and then 4 years of working and, then fraying out of it, it taught me so much that I still use to this day, even in the art progress. So I feel blessed that I did architecture. Yeah.
So post-architecture, you worked for 2 years with RC Architecture.
With RC Architecture, which was the first job out of college. But then again, like when we did our internship, I worked in this other firm in Indiranagar called OS Architecture for about 8 months. So my understanding of start to finish of a project came from there. And then I joined Rapid Corp, which was RC Architecture, which was corporate interiors, plus they had an architecture team as well.
Okay.
So I joined the architecture team. And I worked there and it was fun, I really liked the work culture was awesome there. The bosses were chill.
But you were imagining a path with architecture at that point.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I guess like that seemed like the thing to do. Yeah, it wasn't something that I was like, I'm going to be the best architect in the world or anything. It was just like, I started architecture, let me get a job.
Yeah.
And for me, it was about moving away from home. Because I need to be like independent and stuff. And I think I told you I was in boarding school for 12 years. So it wasn't natural for me to be at home,
Yeah.
So I decided to like be in Bangalore and Rapid Corp had offered me the position and everything. And I learned a lot there. And interestingly enough, my boss, George John, he's the one who told me, hey, you should think about doing these little sketches. I would always be doodling and sketching. And he's like, you should think about putting them on walls. And he was a terrific abstract artist, so he used to show us many of his also were displayed in the office and stuff. So when he suggested it, it was like a seed that was planted, and then eventually the seed grew. But I was like, okay, that's cool. That's kind of cool. It was just like the cool thing.
Yeah, I think bosses like that are so important.
Yes.
Even photography happened to me because of my ex-boss, because he's like, okay, go document my projects. Yeah. And that's how I got into it.
Like you have some people who are just transformational people in your life, I think that's awesome because then you are at least doing something with passion as your fuel, It's not a compulsion.
Yeah, and also I think when others see this in you, even if you've not recognized it yourself, it just lights a fire.
It ignites, that's true. I couldn't see what he saw in me.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, I managed to see it. And the other great thing is all my classmates, juniors, seniors, all of you guys are my client base. Like, like everybody wants any mural. Hey, Sam, she's an architect and an artist, so we don't have to work too hard. Yeah.
She'll understand
So it's been really nice. Yeah, exactly. We don't have to explain technical stuff.
Yeah.
We can ask her the procedure of whether we need to do the head backing first and then paint. And, it's peaceful. I love it. I love the environment I have around me. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so Sam, when you transitioned into an artist, was it from the very beginning after RC architecture, or did you delve into architecture and interiors as well at the same time?
So initially when I got into working in RC architecture, and then once I left there and then I joined a firm part-time just to see what I could do and all of that, I thought I could club the two, So as I'm speaking, I'm realizing that I'm actually living the dream now because I have managed to club it. Because back then what I would do was go and take an architecture project or an interior project with a couple of friends and try to pitch art through that, because I was the art part of that equation.
And it was still new.
Yeah, it was still new. It was a new concept, so people weren't taking risks, and they'll want typography walls or logo recreated on the wall and things like that. But if you pitched something that looked a little bit different from what is there in the landscape, they would get a little shaky. So for a long time I continued to do architecture and interiors, and then I actually collaborated with an event agency who put me on to live art events and all of these things. That's when I started really discovering myself as an artist. Initially when I started being a muralist, the idea was not to do my style per se. It was just hey, it's a fun thing to do and I'm good at it, so I'm going to take everything that comes at me,
Yeah.
And then eventually I streamlined into my style because I realized I had a lot of strengths, but what I liked doing was nature related stuff, like forests and even the line art that I do, if it's a forest scape, it came out I felt significantly better than if I did a typography wall, because typography is measurements and all of these things.
Yeah, there's more free-flowing.
Yeah, so for the first few years I wasn't really streamlined on my style, but I was just sort of trying to create that base foundation of architecture and art, but it just took its own direction at some point, and I let it go. I let it go in its direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was it scary to jump into something that you didn't know a lot about?
Yeah. It was scary, and also the mindset that I had then, right? I was this very excitable character. I can do anything, So I'd saved a little bit, and then I was like, yes, I'm going to go become a freelancer, an entrepreneur and everything. And within 1 year I was tanked. So you learn on the go. So because of all of the challenges, I think there's a particular way I've grown in this industry, because I really took a deep dive. I just plunged head first, not knowing how to swim. So it was scary, but I liked the thrill at the time.
Yeah.
And it's worked. Thankfully for me, it worked. I can't suggest this is what everybody should do.
Yeah, obviously.
But it is something that I did, and I came out okay.
Yeah, and I think it was probably at the right time, because I don't think, somebody who's in their 30s would
could afford that luxury.
Yeah.
Because you have responsibilities and life. I was, I think, 26 when I started fully freelancing. And I would say the first couple of years I took anything, corporate, live shows, live art, even painting canvases for people or making little sculptures, just anything to add to my portfolio.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of have to do that.
You have to do that, yeah. And you have to figure out where you fit.
Yeah.
Because there's place for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has place in this world, That's what I tell people. There's no room for jealousy and comparison.
Yeah.
There's place for everybody.
You just have to do what you want to do.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think you'll eventually get...
You'll eventually find your niche, yeah. There is the whole like natural path that people take after architecture, but it is dangerous and like scary to do something that you didn't study, that you don't have a educational basis in, but you have that passion and you have that intellectual curiosity for it. That's what sustains you.
Do you want to get into a little bit about your process? And I'm guessing that's your favorite part about
it. It is.
Yeah.
It makes me who I am, you know. It's like, I'll just start off by saying initially when I got into it, my creative process was ask the client what he wants, figure out the budget, and see what I can do. And, you know, because I was like, whatever you charge a client, your project fee whatever you need for the project comes from that, right? So you have to be smart about buying good quality materials but giving them good quality art as well, right? So initially it was just let me do my best. But then after that it was about who are you painting for? Why do they need this? And what purpose is it going to serve, right? So when I would talk to a client, like I would engage in what I would like to call the CTB of the brain.
Okay.
So in the background, you are taking notes about what the person is saying, and then there's a layer which sort of segregates it, and there's a front layer which says, okay, this is a creative thing that they want. Oh, they sound like they like nature, so let's add in some nature here. Or they sound like they need they sound like they're like, what do you call them, maximalists. Or like if it's a minimalist, some subtle colors, pastel shades. But if they're a maximalist, if they're like very animated, then they love like a pop of color. So the creative process is essentially just knowing why you're doing what you're doing for the person you're doing it for.
So you do talk about how creativity is what led you down this route, right? And as architects who are also creative people, creativity may be 20% of what we do.
And for a certain period in that process.
So I feel like sometimes I'm not being creative and I sometimes feel like I've lost my creativity. Any advice regarding how you can still hold on to your creativity maybe? Or
the common misconception is that you can't be creative without a substance catalyzing your creativity, right? And I have nothing against people who do that, but for me personally, I've tapped into that area of my brain just from discipline and being spiritually aligned. Our brains are magnanimous, like there's no limit to what human thinking can achieve. So if we're meant to harness it, we can't poke and prod it to make it do what it needs to do. We have to ease it into it. We have to let it naturally expand. So your creativity has to be like a natural well that you tap into, and to maintain that well, you need discipline, and you need these non-negotiables. You need to feed and nurture your brain thing. So pick up a hobby, like I do crochet. So when you do something that involves hand-eye coordination, or even if you want to go and like learn to play the drums or something which requires all three, eyes, ears, and your limbs and stuff like this, your brain learns to create new synapses. So for us, in our brain, if we are stressed, our brain becomes like it becomes rigid, you know. But the beauty is that if you were to work around your stress, your brain can remain creative even during stressful times.
How do you do that?
So like, have non-negotiables. That's the easiest way. So have something that you do every day consistently, no matter what happens. So like wake up, let's say if you like to do yoga, do like half an hour of yoga and then half an hour of maybe reading, or if you're into weights, do weightlifting, or if you're into like meditation, do half an hour of meditation. And then you keep another hour for your morning routine, and which is like, maybe it just could be like making your coffee and cutting vegetables for a salad, or just toasting bread and having it, like whatever it is. Have something that you refuse to not do every day. That sort of wires your brain into like a stable structure, and so you basically garner a lot of energy that you can tap into during the times that you're stressed. So when you have those morning non-negotiables, it sort of wires your brain early in the morning to be like, hey, no matter what, we achieve these things, these 3 things or these 4 things, whatever, in the morning, so we're going to get through the day.
Yeah.
So even if you happen to have 2 hours of less sleep, which is what happened to me today, I've only had like 5.5, and I'm like a sleep princess, so I like 8 hours of sleep.
That's same with me as well. I cannot function.
I can't function. So now I'm like tapping into like the stuff that I gained over the last 1 week. But if you don't have this reserve energy, and if you don't have that cushion for your brain to like relax, just revert to default mode, if you will, then your brain is going to have to expend more energy to do it, which is counterproductive, which produces stress. And it's just like a vicious cycle. Even you doing what you're doing is expanding your brain. And as long as your brain keeps expanding, there's no bound to your creativity.
Yeah, but my brain is kind of exhausted right now.
Then feed it with what it likes. Yeah, maybe go off on a holiday, read for a bit, or take a canvas and paint whatever you want. Just ease your brain a bit, like sometimes we work it too hard also.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just that it's split into so many different things. It can get a bit chaotic.
Yeah, because you have to keep tabs on everything. And I understand.
I think I should definitely try it out. My cortisol levels are through the roof at the moment, and
this sleeping enough and like neuroplasticity and having non-negotiables, just it'll burn your cortisol like in a day, or okay, maybe not in a day, but like in like 21 days. After 21 days, you'll see a change. Yeah,
I will get back to you on that.
Yes, I can't wait. So I have this motto in life, and it's a very odd one. And I always say to myself, never let the mask run the show.
Okay, what does that mean?
And what I mean by that is that everybody has a face that the world sees, and there's a face that only you see in the mirror. And as long as your mask is running the show, you will always be susceptible to burnout.
Okay.
But when you're running it with your own authenticity, when you don't have to hide parts of yourself, and I'm not talking about no privacy and stuff. I'm talking about like being authentic in your approach to whatever you do, you will always be fueled. You'll never burn out, So I think that's a very important thing to do, because often we try to create this persona and then try to maintain it, because, what will people think of us? But many people live by the mask, and then when you experience that burnout, you sort of meet like a dead end, and that's dangerous, because you feel like you've hit rock bottom, you feel like you've wasted many years. So when you're like functioning from your authentic self, you never feel like it's endless. Progress is endless, and you are ever learning. That's the beauty of
I think that's a nice thought.
Not letting the mask run the show.
So Sam, do you have a story that's completely bananas that you could share with our audience?
Yes. So recently I did a wall in an outdoor garden area in Coonoor, and I was doing the wall during the second monsoon season of the hills, and it's like quite harsh, so you get only like few hours in the morning. So I was trying to capitalize on 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then gradually, as the weeks progressed into the monsoon, it would start raining even at like 11 in the morning and stuff.
Okay.
So I rented a tent, and these guys came and they secured it like super well. And I trusted them, and I trusted this tent to keep the water away. And I started painting. And during the last few days of the work, I think like the third or fourth last day, I was very seriously like doing some details, and I had my headphones on, and I could hear this like flapping noise, and it made me a little scared, okay, but then I sort of like took off my headphones, and I was like, oh, there's nothing happening, put it back. And then this thing came and slapped me on the side of my head, and I was like, what on earth? Because that thing had like come off, the thread that they fastened it with had come off, and then this thing is like flapping in the air because it's like so windy, and then it starts ripping apart, and I was just like, I have to now tend to this. Now I spent like half an hour or an hour just going and unfastening everything, rolling up the tent.
Because it's easier to remove it.
Yeah, otherwise the water that was on the tent would have been splashed onto the wall, because now it just landed on my face. And I saved the wall with my face.
But you got slapped in the
Yes. But luckily nothing happened to the wall. But yeah, that was the latest banana story. Ask me in a few months, I'll probably have another one. So,
yeah, of course. With our professions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sam, for doing this for us. It's been a really nice session, and it was great to speak to you after, I'm guessing, 10-ish years?
10 plus.
10 plus, yeah.
But it's been an amazing honor for me as well. Thank
Yeah.
you for inviting me. Thank you for having me on
It was
the
a
podcast.
very fun session. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Okay, done.
I hope that's recorded.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I can't
too.
do that again. What about you?
I worked with Studio Mumbai, so all my experiences have been bananas.
Oh, wow.
So I also cannot talk about them.
The
So
bananas.
yeah.
You want to cut that part? Yeah. No? Okay.
Okay, that went somewhere else.
Yeah.